What's up, people? We are on episode 6 of the Dazed podcast with the Swiss Army knife of dog training, Dave Kroyer. What's going on, man?
Hey, man, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I've been following you for a while. I changed religions. I try to tell people this all the time. I did like a switch of religions in dog training. I was training, I had my old time method of way of training. And then I switched to a more advanced, kind of along the way the dog learns, how he's understanding you. And
Right.
I purchased a download that you put out. It's like a voiceover with the ladies talk, a female's voices talking over it.
Oh, yeah, one of the old DVDs. Yeah.
The video looks old, but
It is
yeah,
pretty old.
Yeah, so
I'm probably 30 pounds heavier too on that.
I got the video because when the video starts off, you're like shaking this lady's hand. You're in a bite suit. Kind of at the beginning, and it's just talking about the clicker training and the pictures, right. Learning in pictures and stuff like that. And so it's just been a road for me, but much more smoother in my training, communicating with the dog like that, with marker training and learning the way that they understand, people.
Cool. Is that the only media that you have seen of anything that I do?
I watch your the stuff you put on Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that. But
okay, you haven't been to my website yet.
I have not.
Okay, I'm gonna do a very short, and I'm not even gonna promote it, but I want to talk to you about it.
Okay.
And about those DVDs quickly, because the DVDs apparently had some impact on your training. Those DVDs that I made, they're 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
When I did them, that project never was completed. It never got completed. The DVDs really weren't coming out as quick as I wanted them to. It was with a production company. And I always felt that my training was always changing. Like literally whatever I did yesterday, I could be doing differently today. And not that what I did yesterday was irrelevant, but I felt like once we put something on a DVD, it was dead, and that was it, right? And it's like I had to live, breathe, eat, whatever the hell was on that DVD, right. Which I do, but I felt it was like the death of what I do as an art for dog training. So I kind of, I backed away from working with that company, and I decided I wanted to do something more multi-dimensional kind of a thing. So I've got a website which has over 500 instructional videos, and it kind of took over where those DVDs left off. So, man, I'm going to hook you up with that. I hope your listeners don't get mad at me, but I'm going to give you a free 1-year subscription.
No, they're not going to get mad at you at all.
Yeah, but I'm going to give you a free 1-year subscription, man. I want you to check it out because I really feel cool about what the website is. And it's a little bit different. It's a little more breathing, living type of thing, man. Because if you ask me I train one thing, I'll give you probably 10 different video examples of 10 different ways to do it, man. And I'll wake up tomorrow and go, hey, check this out. I got a new way that I was messing with something the other night and it working good. And I'm going to show you this. And not that the old ways are bad, but like I said, my shit's always evolving. Evolving.
Yeah, and that's because training is not cookie cutter. It's like you can kind of improvise when with different dogs going to give you different situations to handle differently.
Oh, 100%.
I feel like just going through your page and going through looking at you from 6-7 years I feel like you're involved in so much stuff, like from the dock diving to like ring sport, I guess. What do you do, Mondio?
Mondio ring, a French ring. Dock diving. IGP, otherwise known as IPO. Switzerland. Yep. I train with a lot of PSA people. I personally don't do PSA. I may be doing it in the future, but my whole life I've had like 1 or 2 dogs always involved in like top level of whatever sport they were in, right?
Yes.
I have one high level IGP dog, one high level ring sport dog. It's always tough for me to jump into a different sport, you know. So the ring sports and IGP, I mean, I've done tons of AKC obedience training, tracking, you know, I worked police dogs and that type of thing for years and years and years. Search and rescue, involved with the FEMA teams and stuff like that. So I've had my feet in about everything that you can think of.
Yeah, I think that's how dog training should be. If you're a trainer, you're like, people can come to you for different things versus just, oh, he does IGP. Because a lot of, like, I just recently started doing helper work in IGP, and I've been doing suit work since 05, something like that. I've been in the suit since 05, and mainly personal protection, law enforcement, and PSA were kind of my thing of being able to work. And I still didn't have like the flashy, I had functional obedience, but it wasn't crisp and, you know, like IGP. So that's what made me venture off into something that had a higher standard of what they require for their obedience. And so now I'm at South Metro with Wallace, and
my buddy.
So I'm a helper down there, but I don't have a dog yet. My main dog is still young. He's 15 months. He's going, and I'm gonna do PSA with him. But I definitely want to get a dog for IGP. So let me ask you something real quick. How long have you been training? And you know, what types of training did you start out in?
We're going on probably 22 to 23 years now that I've been involved. Pretty much at least 20 years as a professional, whatever that means, right? Like, I make money at it. It's what I do to pay my mortgage and eat food. But competitively, I've been doing it also for about, 19, 20 years. A lot of people don't know this about me. Before I got into dogs, I was in the music industry from when I was 17 years old until I was about 28, 29 years old. And I was a professional touring musician. I was a teacher. I have degrees in music, jazz education, tons of different stuff. For whatever reason, I got out of that industry, and it was not because I wasn't making it. I did a lot in that industry. I just felt like doing something different. And the reality was, I didn't know how to do anything else. It's like, well, what else can I do? I can go flip burgers at Burger King, or I'm good with dogs. I have 2 dogs. You know, I didn't even know shit about training. And I went to a dog training school, and I graduated, and I put everything, that I could into that. And that's kind of where I'm not going to go through all the places that I worked and that type of thing, but I kind of hit the ground running, and was real fortunate with one of my first IGP back then, called Schutzen Dogs. I went to 3 world championships with that dog. But I kind of like when I decide to do something, like I race mountain bikes, I race BMX, I do a lot of that type of thing. Whatever I do, man, I give it my everything. Like, whether it's dog training, whether it's, and I get up really early. I have a very scheduled day with training dogs and training my body for racing. And that's the way I kind of approach everything. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right, and hopefully leave some kind of stamp of my name when I leave this earth. Yeah. So yeah, I've been doing it for 20 years, and everything about dog training interested me, not just one thing, right? Like, there was obviously working with companion dogs, and that was my bread and butter for many, many years, as it is for most people. But the competitive working dog side is the thing that kind of grabbed me and, lit the fire. And it wasn't, the German Shepherd dog. I was just into dog. I'm into a good working dog. I don't care if it's a Shepherd, Mallee, Dutch Shepherd, bully breed. Don't matter to me. If it's a cool working dog, I'm cool with it.
Right. Yeah, I have the same type of, and I think that makes for good trainers, because I definitely look back at some of my old videos, and I look back at myself now, and I just see like a big change. And I think everybody has that evolution, but what makes you good is the obsession of like being like so obsessed with what you're doing. I have the same passion for like jujitsu. I just started doing jujitsu
Right.
at 38.
Awesome.
And I just had a competition this weekend. I got gold in one division, silver in another. But
Nice, man. Congrats.
I'm super sore. Thanks. Super sore. I'm trying to recover from that right now. But yeah, man, it's something I really.
But if you're training with Wallace's group, you're with the right crew, man. For one, Wallace is a dear friend of mine. Known him for almost as long as I've been doing this stuff, and he's that guy. You know, for one, he's great at developing helpers, man. He's just freaking great at that. Push you, so you're in the right spot.
Yeah, you kind of went out for like 3 seconds there, but it's all good. Yeah. So yeah, I really
hopefully you caught what I was saying.
Yeah, I heard the thing about you saying about Wallace. It's a real good spot. He's good at developing helpers. He's he's definitely I definitely see that he's real meticulous about everything, even with the helper work.
Yeah.
So it's good to have him be under his tutelage. But yeah, and I'm looking to do the same thing that I've done, you know, with the rest of the stuff in my life with being an IGP helper. Just because I feel like I'm a good helper in suit work, I feel like I'll be just as good or better doing the IGP helper work. So I want to just do a couple of like national level competitions or trials, and I'll work my way up and see how that works out.
So I'm kind of I like are you familiar with French ring?
Not much. I've watched a few trials, but I'm not well.
Okay, so like with your background of doing jujitsu or any martial arts or anything like that, man, it would seem to me like French ring would be, from a decoy standpoint, like a really good spot for you. You know, most of the really good French ring decoys have some kind of athletic training. A lot of them are soccer players. There's one of my favorite. It's probably everybody's favorite. Irving Bovenga, you know, and he's a martial arts guy, right? That's where he kind of comes from, that type of thing. So that may be something you want to look into, getting into that. There's not a whole, there is some around Georgia now. I don't know where they're at, but there's a new club.
There's a club that does French ring here, and there's a guy locally. I think his name's Miles. He's a
Miles Ronan, little Miles,
little dude. He's real super athletic, But my knees are bad, man. Like, so taking a lot of like leg bites and jumping and spinning, you know, just taking the leg bites is like a lot, you know. One, because I waited so late in life.
For sure it is. I've had. Yeah, man, it's tough. I've had both my MCLs and ACLs torn. So I am 52, a little bit older, but it's tough. Yeah, it's tough on you, man.
Yeah. So what would you say is your favorite breed of dog? Like, if you had to have one dog to compete with, to do anything with, that's versatile, can do everything that you like to do, what the kind of dog would it be?
I mean, if you ask me my favorite dog in my household right now, it would be my beagle. But
performance,
you know, for performance, man. Okay, this is a tough question because for IGP, I prefer a German Shepherd dog. For ring sport and PSA, that type of thing, I prefer a Malinois. But the sports were designed, right? The IGP was designed for a German Shepherd. And I know people are going to hear me say this, go, well, the Malinois, they kick ass, but I get it. I totally get it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was designed for the German Shepherd. Ring sport, French ring was designed for the Malinois, right?
Right.
So that's why for I've got my Shepherd for that, and I got my Malinois for that. So that's kind of where I've got to leave that.
Okay. Yeah. So have you had any like education and like behavioral stuff, like formal education doing like animal behavior, or did you just kind of pick up on all the stuff platonically, like just through people and learning?
Well, when I was in college and going to school for music, and I've got a master's in music education. I did a lot of if you do a master's in anything, you're probably learning some shit you had no idea you wanted to learn. But I was also taking classes on applied theory, stuff like that, psychology. Not having any idea I would be coming full circle round back to it, right?
Right.
Like I just doing those credits to get them out of the way, whatever. But I do have an education in applied behavior, that type of thing. So when I got into dog training, it was just kind of natural evolution, even though I came full back circle, and I'm like, oh, now that crap that I learned, when I was drunk and high half the time in college, I understand how I'm going to apply it now. And ever since I've gotten into dog training, in the second half of my life, I'm not really a student of many other trainers. There's other trainers that I watch maybe and I grab and I take from, Wallace is one of them. But I'm a student of applied theory and that type of thing. I really view animal training as a technology, right? There's the laws of learning. And once you understand the laws, then you know how to break them. It's like, if you're a jazz musician, once you become a master of how music theory works, then I can break them and I can be an avant-garde or a free-form jazz musician. But until you know how the rules work or the laws of learning, you can't break them. So that's where I come from. Some people call me a technician. Whatever, man. I look at it as an artist with animals because I work with a lot of different species too.
Right. I think I saw you with a goat before.
Yep.
And,
I've got a goat that I'm
goat.
messing here with. Yeah, I was just doing some operant A to B stuff with it. We've got cats here, we've got chickens here, we've got horses here. I work with an animal wrangler in town with some different species of animals for different commercials and stuff like that. So that's something that really, I'm into. And when you come from working with an animal like that, you kind of got to put a lot of emotion aside, right? You go, well, how does this animal work, right? And there are the laws of learning through applied behavior, and that's where I come from.
Okay. So there's not too many people. Let me see I gotta choose my words wisely. There is
no, you don't just throw them out there like I do.
So in the IGP world, I feel like the people are so locked into IGP that they don't do anything else. And it's kind of like you just get in the mindset that what you're doing is you're not all in if you don't just do IGP. You got what I'm saying? Right. And it's not just where I am. It seems like everywhere I go I'm get involved with the IGP people, that's how they are. They're like, get out of that suit, and it's just a lot of crazy like.
Yeah, you're right, man. But it's also like that, dude. Even if you come to the ring sport side, like you always see these arguments on social media about, which is the best sport. My buddy Will and we did a podcast together a couple months ago. It was kind of mocking everybody, but we did a podcast talking about the best sport, right? And we went through all this. We went through ring sport, PSA, Mondial ring, French ring, IGP, whatever. But before we stated, hey, man, if you've not done these at a high level, you don't get to fucking talk,
exactly, right?
Nobody needs to say anything. Even my IGP friends can shut up, unless you've done it at a high level. But I mean, what I mean is I've done Mondial ring at a high level. I've been to 2 Mondial ring world championships. In French ring, I've been to the Cup of Americas as the domestic grand champion. In IGP, I've been to 12 world championships. So I'm one of the few people, I can raise my hand and talk, right? I get to have my opinion. Too many people are throwing opinions out there
And they
especially
don't
on
know.
social media. They
Right.
have no idea how you even gonna, don't say anything, how you're 30, 40?
40, yeah.
40. Okay, so you're not too far behind me, but you're still younger. But it was funny, when I was growing up, I I always sat back and I shut up. I didn't give my opinion. Mainly, even if I had one, I never felt that I had earned the right to give an opinion, right? Until I mastered something, whether it was music or dogs or whatever I was doing, right? Now, man, everybody gonna give their opinion.
Right.
You go on social media and some dude that's been doing this for 3 weeks saw a couple YouTube videos gonna give me his fucking opinion.
Right.
And so it's a really tough thing. And I hear what you're saying about the IGP people, but it's the same thing with the ring people. And one of my biggest breakthroughs in performance dog work was when I started doing multiple dog sports. I'm like, holy crap, man, I can use this from over here and
Yes.
do it over here.
Yes.
And like being in a suit and understanding French ring and being a Mondio ring judge and doing that and doing IGP and doing the police dogs and all that, man, suddenly it's like, wow, man, it all is intertwined. It's not just one thing,
Right. Yeah, my grandma used to tell me, stop talking about stuff that you don't know nothing about. So she used to drill that into my head. And today, if I don't know about something, I'll try to get involved to find out about it. But if I haven't done it, I really don't say a whole lot about it. I just like to say, this is my lane. This is where I am. And this is what I know about this. And I don't think one sport's more difficult than the other, or this is harder than that one.
They're all hard. Man.
They're all hard at the higher levels. All of them are difficult.
Yep.
And most of the times I'm just involved with stuff that correlates to a dog that is more like a personal protection or a police dog. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if my life caters to that, that's what I like. That's kind of what I do. But IGP has higher standards for, like, they're real meticulous about stuff, So I kind of said, oh, let me join this, because every person that I've seen that was good in PSA, they also did IGP at one point in their life. Like, you know what I'm saying? So either they started out and switched, and then they kept that same obedience, just working a suit dog. You know what I'm saying? And I just thought it was something that I needed to add to my,
Man, the more you can add, the better. One of my old, when I was in the music, when I was going to school and learning about, I'm a drummer. That's what I get, a drummer, percussionist. I also play piano. I had a teacher by the name of Carl Allen, an older jazz drummer, and that was kind of my thing. I come from that background, and I remember Carl always used to tell me when we were down in the studio and he was giving me my lesson, he's like, man, you got to think of this like you're a chef, right? And a good chef is going to take a little of this, a little of that, little of that, little of that, throw it in, and that's going to be the final product, right? And that's kind of the way I've thought about everything that I've done, whether it's my music career back then, my dog training, even my cycling career. Well, I don't have a cycling career. That was a bad choice of words. What I do is a hobby, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I mountain bike, I road bike, I free ride, I race BMX, and these are 4 completely different disciplines within cycling, and they're the same thing. A lot of people will go, oh, that's better than this, or this is better than that. But man, they all blend together, and that's that's how I've always been about everything I do.
Right. I see it the same as like NFL players or MMA fighters taking like ballet to get their balance better. It's just something to add to your repertoire.
It ain't gonna hurt, right?
Right. It's not gonna
hurt.
Yes, indeed. So right now you have a dog competing in IGP.
I have a young dog coming up. He is a little over 2 now. Hector from Working House. It's a dog from the United States, bred by Amanda Homan. Incredible trainer, and this dog that I have from her is an incredible dog. He just has his BH and AD. I'll be going for his 1, maybe next month. I don't know. Probably within the next 2 or 3 months. I'm waiting for a trial.
How old is he now?
Right, 2, little over 2. I got him at 9 months old.
Okay.
So, I started training him basically the day that I got him, and he didn't really know anything, which is how I like a dog when I get him. And he's ready for a 1 right now. He'll probably be ready for a 3. I may make a run for the championships with him in spring. It's a young dog. I'm not that guy who's like, oh, I got to get back on the field right away. I just retired my Malinois, who kind of retired a little early due to a soft tissue injury. So, I'm just kind of sitting here with this young dog. We'll either hit the scene in spring, the championship scene, or in 2020, late 2022, 23. But we'll get his titles this winter on him. And he's a banger. He's a good one.
Yeah, I feel that too. Then what do you think about dog selection and getting dogs, like older dogs? Like I've seen people that this just wasn't a thing to me. I never wanted to have a dog that was like kind of already trained. You know what I'm saying? Like the
Right.
dog's like 2 or 3 years old. He's already got a BH and that kind of stuff. And then they start, people get a dog like that and then start working with it. I always want to raise my dog from the ground up and just put everything in him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And not a lot of people ask me about this stuff. So when I got into this sport, or in the early late or 99, 2000s, whatever, from there until about 2006, I had 3 or 4 dogs that I've taken from literally, puppies, 8, 9 weeks old, to the world championship. And I was that guy too. I was like, man, I don't want no dog that's older, bullshit. I don't want an already trained dog. As I was getting older and I started bringing in, I'm like, time for a new puppy. I started realizing, holy crap, man, I'm washing a lot of puppies out. None of them were quite good enough to get to the level I wanted to, and I'm getting older and older and older. And the last few dogs that I had were actually dogs that were already titled, that came with a 1 or a 2. And it's kind of a different story. I didn't search for them. They kind of fell into my hands. But when you get to a certain point of your life, what you're going to find out, dude, it's very hard to get a good puppy for a high level, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I was writing a blog the other day about washing puppies. Nobody talks about it. They always say, well, my puppy's not biting good. What should I do? Well, everyone's like, he could be teething, wait for him to mature. And I'm like,
new dog.
Man, I'd give him another, I'm gonna give him another week and he's gone, I'm not that guy, dude, because I now listen, there is always that one dog that, we waited for him to mature and now he's a rock star. That's fine, but he ain't waiting around my house for 9 months until the fucker bites and takes the ball, right? Like they have to show me something. So like at this point in my life, being going to be 52 here in December, I couldn't see me getting another puppy, man, because that's 6 months to 8 months of my life where if he don't work out, I'm gonna have to wash him and then I'm starting over. So if you can get me into an 8, 9 month old dog who we know is biting, we know got good food drive, we know got the nerves, we know he ain't stick shy. We can't tell all about the hips and elbows, but we know if as long as the hips are not square, give me in a dog like that. That's more what I'm looking for right now. And it'll happen as you get older. You're like, damn, I'm running out of time. Basically, that's the truth.
I'll tell you, it's been about 6 years since I've had a dog that I can compete with that's mine. Because I have that same method. Like I had a real nice female dog. I raised her from a puppy. She was actually somebody else's wash. And then I raised that dog up. She did real well in everything that I had her to do. And trying to replace her, I'll get a puppy.
It's hard, man.
Nice, good drive. Then it kind of fades out. Dog gets like 8 months old. He starts doing stuff that I don't like. I'm like, oh my God, another puppy. Then I just stopped getting dogs. And I was like, I'm going to train my friends and my club members' dogs and just celebrate them winning and doing whatever. So I did that for a while. And now the dog that I have right now is the first dog that I've had that I feel real good about. He's 15 months old right now. He's really doing with everything I ask him. And I do extra life stuff with him. Like we go hunting, we do hog hunting and stuff like that.
Right.
I really don't want to get him hurt, so I kind of keep him out of that too. So,
But it's tough, man. I mean, you just answered your own question, like
yeah,
about getting a young dog versus an older dog. At some point, it's like, as much as I like messing with puppies, I'm not going to risk a year to see. I've done it. Nobody ever has to say, nobody can say, well, Dave never did it with a puppy. Man, I've done it with many puppies. I may have been, one of the first to do a handler untrained dog to the world championship back in the late 1990s,
Mhm.
so I don't have to, I've done it. I okay, cool. I've done it. Now I like to compete. I'm very competitive,
Right.
I'm not into dog culture. I don't like hanging out with, to be honest, with a lot of dog people. I don't have a club. I'm not in a club. I have to be part of the culture to a point because I promote my social media, I promote my website, and stuff like that. But I'm just not that person. I kind of train alone. I have people that help me. And there's certain people, like, I mean, if you put me and Wallace together, we'll train all day long, right? I put me and some other, friends of mine, normally older, a little bit, not that we're dead yet, but,
Yeah, right.
that we can kind of, we're on the same kind of wavelength and stuff like that.
Right.
But I'm not a big club guy, and I'm not a big dog culture guy. Like, that's not my thing.
Okay. Cool. So I feel like just from the outside looking in that you're a really good teacher. Um so do you enjoy training people or just you and the dogs most of the time?
Um, I ended up, when I was in the music industry, I ended up being a teacher at that point, and I've been a teacher of dog stuff all my life. I was thinking about this for a few hours this morning because I was kind of in a bad groove about something. And I like teaching, but I don't like problem solving someone else's problems. Like, I was kind of irritated this morning because I had 3 phone calls of people that had some issues, but it was just problems. Like, everything, if I open up my emails, if I open up my Facebook Messenger, everything that everybody's throwing at me is their problems,
Mhm.
right? Dave, how do I fix this? How do I fix this? How do I fix this? I'm not like, of course, I know I can solve problems and stuff like that. But when you're just getting other people's problems thrown at you, like day after day, hour after hour after, it's
Mhm.
like, well, holy shit, man, I'm not Dr. Phil. Like that, I don't have training in this. And a lot of people, they're very emotional about their training. So they break down and people will have tears. And I get it, but it's like, holy crap, man. Like, I'm not qualified to deal with that day after day, year after year, over 20-year period. Now, if you ask me Dave, I want to create some pretty art, man, I'd be happy to talk to you and do that. But it's hard because it's always, Dave, here are my problems, fix them.
Right.
Like, and that's something different because a lot of times it goes back to internally with people and that type of thing. And like I said, man, I'm not Dr. Phil. I didn't sign up for that. I didn't go to school for that. I mean, I did go to the school. I took classes on psychology and stuff, but I like teaching. I think it's a love-hate relationship, like, I like teaching new things to people. I
Yes.
don't like having problems thrown at me constantly. Fix this problem. Fix this fuck up that I did with my dog, right? Like,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
always that. It's always that.
Right. Because 90% of the time it's something that they're doing or allowing or not,
Dude, 100% of the time,
Yeah. Yeah. So
If
people
you're
they,
asking me to fix something, it's one thing. It's genetics of the dog, or you mess something up.
yep.
It's rare that people say, Dave, there's a new behavior I'm trying to teach a dog. Let's say, stand in motion. I don't care, bark and hold, you name it. How do you teach it? People rarely ask me stuff like that.
Mhm.
It's always, how do I fix this, 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 and this?
Yeah, because they start trying to do it in a way that you didn't tell them to do, and then they start doing this all this off the wall stuff. And then they like, oh, well, my plan didn't work. So then they come back to you and try to get the solution.
Right.
Yeah. So, man.
But yeah, I love teaching. It's love-hate relationship, man.
I like it. I like teaching because I feel, I don't know if you have kids or not, but I feel
I don't.
like the people that I train are like that to me, like my kids. And I feel like when they have success doing something, I win too. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I kind of like that feeling of like teaching somebody something, they do it, and then they go on and do great things. And I'm like, okay, I felt like I've done it. Even like this whole time that I wasn't competing, the people in my club or people around me that are learning and they're having success, I was happy with that. I felt like I was winning just as well, you know?
Right. I mean, I've had that, like, you know, I used to have a club. I've coached people to very high level world championships and stuff. But the thing that, and maybe you're not there yet. Do you do this for a living?
Yes.
Okay.
I quit my job 2 years ago.
Okay. So you're still pretty new. I've been doing this for a living for 20 years.
Right.
One thing that starts to happen is, okay, yeah, I love, you know, people have success. I love that. But also when they don't, that becomes my problem too, right? And sometimes it's difficult because, yeah, you know, it's just with same with martial arts, with anything, not everybody can be the best, right? Like there's certain things you need to be good at martial arts, maybe good timing. First of all, you got to be in shape. You got to have a body, right? Like it's probably pretty rare that some morbidly obese dude who has no fitness is going to be good at jujitsu, right? I would assume. Okay. Yeah. So you may be coaching them and helping them, and like, well, dude, you know, it's going to be really tough. You're not going to do well, right? So the thing with coaching and teaching is I take responsibility for everybody's successes, not responsibility. I'm happy to be there and celebrate with them. But also, if I'm coaching them, it's my problem too when it goes wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Even if they didn't follow all your instructions, you still have
that's
to
what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. So if you're gonna let me guide the ship, let me guide the ship, and then I'll be responsible for it if you did everything that I told you. So yeah, I get where you're going, because some people, my biggest issue is when you're training somebody and then they get on the internet and they see somebody else doing something similar to what you're teaching them, and then they go learn over there, and which is not a problem. I don't have a problem with that at all. But don't take the dog. Like you can go to a seminar and go to an audit spot without bringing your dog.
100%, right?
And then you know, like they start, then you're at the seminar. The person doesn't know the dog. He starts doing a bunch of stuff that we already tried, and then I'm like, bro, we've done it already. That's not gonna work. This is not that dog. So, you know, that really just grinds my gears, you know.
But dude, a lot of people want to go to seminars now, and you know, you're talking to a guy who at one point of my career, not so long ago, I'd be on an airplane every weekend doing a seminar, you know, worldwide. And I can't even count, you know, that's what I did for 15 years. I'm not doing it so much anymore, but in the last year, especially with COVID happening, I want to stay at home more. But people go to seminars for way different reasons than I would go, right? People want to go, you know, a lot of their ego. They want to show their dog off. They want their training validated. They you know, or they want to go just to have a good time with their dog. Man, if I'm going to a seminar, I'm going to learn.
Right.
I don't need my dog. I don't need validation in my training. I'm going to pad and paper. I'm going to write my shit down. I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to listen, you know, like a lot of people. It's funny because if I'm going to a seminar, some friends of mine will say, well, hey man, all right, you're leaving tomorrow. Have fun. I'm like, what? I'm going to work, man. Like when you go to your job, I don't go, well, have fun today. Right. Like I'm going to teach. Right. Mm-hmm. But a lot of it's the mentality of dog folks. Everything is fun. Dude, when you went to school, high school, whatever education, You didn't go to math class and someone go, well, have fun. If they said have fun at math class, they were being a smart ass, right?
Yeah, good luck.
You were going there to freaking learn.
Yeah,
learn. Right. Yeah, good luck. So people go to seminars for the wrong reason, man. You know, they want, like you said, they want to take their dog, show it off, have their own training validated. And normally bad shit happens, generally speaking, most of the time.
Right. I wrote a post today about people doing training that makes them feel good instead of training that needs to be done. You know, like there's a lot of people that just, okay, my dog does this well. So like you've been working on healing for 2 years, but your dog still needs to learn how to do retrieves and, you know, a lot more puzzles to the pieces of the puzzle. And then I'm like, okay, talk to me when you're supposed to be done. And then we'll see how much you've advanced. And usually it's not. You can make a bunch of cool videos and make the dog look good and all that, but you have to do things that are not, that you don't really enjoy doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a whole nother discussion. I've talked about this stuff before. You know, but here you're absolutely right, dude. Like training for me is not fun most of the time. It's actually very stressful, right? For me, most of the time. I'm a top level trainer trying to make top level competitions. It's not always fun, but I thrive off of that, right? Like when you go to jujitsu training and you get your ass whooped by, I don't know, what do they call it, sensei or what? Who is it? Who's the dude?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Right?
It would be your coach or your sensei. Yeah.
Okay, it ain't always fun, man. You get your ass handed to you, but you're learning, right? And you've got to go through that. It's the same thing with dog training. It's not always fun. Things break down, right? I've got to figure the puzzle out. I've got to, things get dark, you know, for the dog, get dark for me, but people don't want to go there. But here's the thing that I always have to remember, man. Not everybody is trying to go to the world championship. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like for some people, it's like, well, I just do it because after a hard day of work, I like to drink some wine and go to my Schutzhund or Ring or PSA club. Right. And I'm down. I'm like, dude, I get it, but do not expect to get results like I do them.
Exactly.
You can't. The two don't go together. They don't go together. You can be the weekend warrior and you love the club potluck dinners and all that shit, but you can't complain and get emotional when your dog don't perform. Because if you're not willing to go into that area of training where it does not always look pretty, it's not always playtime, right? Then it'll never advance. You can't be, you got to have goals like, well, at some point, a behavior needs to be finished. It ain't luring around with the field with a ball under your arm and a cookie in your finger all day long, right?
Right. Yes.
I mean, we do that. I mean, I train with food. I'm a clicker trainer, right? Like I train a lot of reward-based training. That's my thing. But of course I use pressure. And there are sometimes things break down and they get ugly. And I've got to work through it, you know, that it happens to me all the time. And so it's not always that fun. And like I said, I'm fine with that if people just do it for a hobby. You know, like I'm not a professional BMX rider. I forget, I do it for a hobby. I can't beat myself up, right? Like I'm 52 years old. Being a pro at that is, I'm 40 years past that or 20 years past that. But I do know if I wanted to, well, God, for my body couldn't handle it, but my life would have to change. If you want different behavior out of your dog, you've got to change your behavior. So you're absolutely right. It's not always fun playtime, right?
Right. Not at all. Like people definitely want the success or the accomplishments that you have without taking the proper steps that you did to get to that point. Yeah, like I do a lot with my dog. I wake up in the morning, we have a routine. I feed him before. I say, don't feed your dog. This is what I do with most of my clients. Do not feed him out of the bowl our first 2 weeks of training. All his food he's gonna get from you. And I just want him to do that just to kind of get more engagement instead of let him graze like a cow all day and eat. And then he's not going to really work for you. It's going to be hard to get him to do, you know, what you want to do. And it's like, oh, I fed him this morning before our lesson. I just, you know, he's hungry. I'm like, he's not hungry. You know, like if he doesn't
do they always say that? They'll always say that. Or they'll say, oh, I didn't feed him this morning. He's going to be hungry. dude, missing one meal don't do anything, right? We know that. I
I'm
don't
talking
care if you
about
didn't feed him,
a good 36,
right?
48 hours.
Right. And here's the reality, dude. I've never starved one of my personal dogs. They have good food drive. The difference is they have good work ethic. Because when I get a new dog, they're not eating out of a bowl. They're getting the same damn amount of food just from me, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So it's like, I'm not depriving them of food. Now, if you got a dog with low food drive, maybe they got to skip a meal or two. Hell,
Right.
95% of the human population need to skip a freaking meal or two,
A
right?
couple. I need to miss a couple.
So, dude, I could miss one or two, but yeah, it's the same thing, you know. And I've dealt with all those struggles for over 20 years. And I don't do a lot of private lessons anymore. I have a couple few people, clients that I work with that are relatively high level trainers. I really like my website, and don't forget, I'm going to hook you up with a free subscription. It was DKATV, DaveKroyer.com.
I'm
But
not
you're
gonna
going to get
forget.
hooked up with that.
I'm gonna plug that in. When I do all the editing and stuff, it'll be plugged in. I got
Cool.
another question for
But
you.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah, go ahead, hit me.
Do you think that dogs are self-pleasing?
Man, dude, to me, they're the most opportunistic. Well, no, animals are opportunistic. They're opportunistic son of a bitches, man. They're gonna pull your pants down when you least expect it, right? That's the way they're doing everything for them, whatever's in the best interest.
Yeah, that's
for
what I
them.
mean. Self-pleasing.
Yeah. So my job is to teach them, well, hey, it's in your best interest to do things for me. However, I got to get, and that it's very simple. You control the resources. It's not very difficult.
Right.
From their social interactions and whether it food, water, sexual activity is a resource. Unless I'm breeding the dog, we're not dealing with that.
Right.
But social interaction, food, water, play, and then we are blessed, and people don't understand this. We are blessed that the dog is domesticated, and that is a pack animal. That allows us to be able to use other quadrants of learning, and I hate talking about that shit, but we can use, for lack of a better word, a correction on a dog. We can use positive punishment on a dog because they are a pack animal and they are domesticated. And I know that everybody keeps saying, oh, the theory of the hierarchy of the dog, that whole theory has been debunked by the guy. And I'm like, you know what? That's all. Anyone can have an article on social media.
Right.
The dog is a domesticated pack animal.
Yes.
It is a predator and it's domesticated. That means, and it is a pack animal, that it does abide by the hierarchy theory,
yes.
right?
Yes.
So that does allow me to use positive punishment on the dog. I'm not saying everybody go use positive punishment, but for all the people out there that go, oh, only reward-based training, positive only, all that bullshit. You know what? At this point in my life, I'm 52. I don't feel like arguing about it anymore. I always say, meet me on the podium and we'll have that discussion.
Exactly.
Until then, shut the fuck up. Basically.
Yeah. I'm trying to see what's gonna happen if they get like the UK and like ban electric and stuff like that. It's gonna be
dude,
weird.
I don't think that'll happen in our lifetime. I mean, it's going that way, right? The trend is going that way. I don't believe that'll happen in our life. Maybe not in my lifetime. Maybe in yours. I think what we see is what we're going to see for right at the moment, probably till I leave this earth, which hopefully is later than sooner. But if we be realistic about it, 20, 30 years from now, I don't believe we'll have a ban on that stuff. I bet they'll be talking about it though.
Yeah, it's the crazy thing is that the people making the laws or making the decisions, they have no idea what they're talking about. So like it's with anything, just the culture. We live in like this cancel culture. Anything you say, you can, they just They're gonna pick at what you say. He meant this, he meant that, blah blah. It's the same way with training tools. And I feel like any of them can be abused, and you're making a decision off of something that somebody said that doesn't know anything about dog training.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. The problem is, dude, when I first got into this as as a career choice and a professional, well, even before then, I was using pinch collars on my pet dogs. I was all about, man, fight the good fight, man. Like the pinch collar is a great thing, and I'm going to fight the good fight, and I'm going to explain it and educate. Now, 23 years later, I'm like, I'm done fighting the good fight, man. Yeah, because like you said, the culture is changing. I can't stop that.
Right.
Me and you can sit here and have an intelligent conversation about applied theory and animal learning and stuff like that. Meanwhile, there's a Facebook group with 90,000, close to 1 million people. And I can tell you, I'm in these groups because I advertise my web stuff on it. Like the German Shepherd dog lovers. Dude, right. These are Facebook groups. None of you have never, that's some crazy ass shit. Like, dude, that's like a million people. Somebody asked a question. Well, what harness should I have my dog on because they pull too much?
None of them.
Right, dude, I'll make that comment. Don't use a harness they promote pulling. Use a training collar. Dude, and I'll have 50,000 motherfuckers lynching me. And I'm like, you know what? I don't have this time to sit on the internet and defend my knowledge against 50,000 people.
Yeah, right. People don't know. They don't have a clue.
But it's the numbers, right? The numbers, that's why I'm like, I'm not going to fight the good fight anymore, man. I'm going to live my life on my little country acres here, keep my nose down and do my thing.
I had a conversation with someone, and I was teaching my dog to do a focus seal, right? So I showed him a couple videos of other people doing it. The first thing that they said was, that looks like abuse. Does the dog ever walk normal after that? Because, like if I feed my dog, like as soon as I let him out the cage, he knows to get in a heel position and stare up at me. We do a little bit of OB. I send him back to his food. So I'm like, it's not abuse. I'm not making him. He's just learned that he has to do that to get to eat. And I understood after hearing it from a bunch of different civilians, like people who are not into dogs, I get how it can be perceived. Like, that looks like torture. His neck, that's an unnatural position, and I'm like, he's not hurting. He's having fun. He's barking at me just to get his food, but it's hard to explain that to somebody who doesn't understand how you got him to do what you got getting him to do.
It's so foreign to everybody, right? And I mean, I guess, within the performance dog world, I reach a lot of people, but dude, the performance dog world is a dot on the beach of, like Miami or the beach of wherever, right? Like it's one grain of sand on 20 miles of beach. Right. So I'm like, instead of, trying to fight the good fight, it's real simple, man. I've got a niche of what I do, and I've done a good job at creating that and being successful. And man, I'm gonna let you young guys fight that fight for me.
I'm done fighting myself. The thing that gets me the most is those people are the people who are you'll do like some obedience, like a short video of obedience with your dog, and they'll share it, and they'll like, this is amazing. This is, those same people. And then when you start telling them the methods that you did to get the dog where it is, oh, I'm not doing that. Blah, blah, blah. It's weird.
Yeah, man, the dog world's a funny world, or the animal world's a funny world, man. It's a funny world.
Yeah, man, I'm definitely looking forward to, just trying to get to a high level in whatever I do in the dogs, and try to, just since I started this podcast, I've got to meet a lot of people and talk to a lot of people, and, build relationships, which is branching me out of my mind in a way, because you have to get out. You have to, you have to broaden your horizons as far as just being in your circle and the way your people train around you. I think it's important to just learn a lot of stuff from different people.
Yeah, man. Like I said, dude, you're fortunate to be around a good group with South Metro. I mean, there's other groups too in Georgia, but I know Wallace for a long time. You know, him and I talk quite frequently, weekly, if not a few times a week. And I've really been. I mean, I'm always impressed with Wallace's training, his knowledge of animal behavior, but dude, he's been developing some really good young helpers, man, in the last few years, and that's pretty cool. I dig that because I stopped trying to do that shit too a few years ago.
Yeah,
but
right.
Wallace, I think Wallace is now kind of like gained that reputation of being able to develop good helpers, and he's doing I bring my young dog, down to Wallace's, and any of his helpers could work my dog. I'd be comfortable with any of them, man. So
Right.
You're in the right spot for learning and growing, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Hopefully Wallace didn't tell you to have me do your podcast.
He did not. Friends, he did not. And I don't even think I didn't know that you guys knew each other, but I figured you did just because of the level of competition that you guys have been in.
No, he's a very good friend, dear friend of mine.
Yeah, man. I get around. I talk to a lot of people and stuff. When he sees this, he'll probably be surprised. He doesn't even know I'm doing it. So I didn't tell him anything about it.
I should tell the story of me having to wipe the dog poo-poo off his butt before he went out to Obedience for the World Championship. But I'm going to let him tell you that story.
I'll definitely ask him about it.
You ask about Dave wiping the dog poop off your butt before you went out for the World Championship.
I'll definitely ask him about it. One more question, man, before we wrap it up. What advice would you give to someone who has not started training yet? They're just passionate about dogs and they want to become a dog trainer.
My main advice would be do not, study applied theory. Study how animals learn. Don't get caught up in the social media aspect of, who's the hot trainer on social media this week. I always tell people, learn the laws of learning. That's where it comes from, man. Nowadays with social media, you're going to see a lot of little clips. TikTok's the thing too. You're going to see a 15-second clip of somebody that may have some gorgeous healing, but dude, there's a lot more than gorgeous healing to get that dog titled and everything, right?
Yes.
So study applied behavior, how dogs learn. It is a technology that has to be learned. Someone needs to teach it to you. Seek that knowledge. We all got into dog training because we liked dogs. That don't mean we knew shit about how animals learn, right?
That's correct.
Like we have that X factor. Yeah, man, I'm good. And my last comment is, you are really a dog man or a dog woman or a dog person when you can live and coincide peacefully with an untrained dog. That's a heavy statement.
Mm-hmm.
Because, for instance, my beagle has zero training, none, dude. Mm-hmm. Like, if I call her to come, she comes half the time. She barely housebroken. By barely, I mean once a month she may pee in the house. But that dog is untrained,
right? For
all practical purposes. Does not know how to walk on a leash. Don't know how to do shit. It's my favorite dog. We live and coincide peacefully and lovely. That's when you know you're a dog person.
My Frenchie's like that. I have a Frenchie. Yeah. I don't teach her nothing. She's just wild.
Yeah.
She's good with the
kids.
Then
you're a dog man, right?
Yeah, she's
because somebody else, I got to have all these rules. What rules, man? Just coincide with the animal. Once you, my dog, like people will say, how do you function every day when she don't know anything? Well, she got to know. She follows me around, right? Like,
yeah, right. You have a relationship with her.
We got a relationship, man.
Yeah. Let everybody know, man, where you're at. What's your Instagram? How they can find that website again, and then I'm gonna plug it in.
The website, davekroyer.com. Real simple, man. We call it DKA TV. If you look on Facebook, you can put in Dave Kroyer, DKA TV. That will take you to the Facebook page. Once again, the website is davekroyer.com. My Insta is just Dave Kroyer. I'm becoming slower and slower with social media. That there's other things that I like to do. I do have a private discussion group on Facebook. If you're a subscriber to my website, I'll talk.
Gotcha.
Other than that, man, I'm like, if you go onto my Insta page, I'm gonna have half dog stuff and half mountain biking and BMX stuff.
Right.
And then, then a video of me being at the Fishbone or Dumpster Funk concert from Friday night, right?
Right.
So it's gonna be a lot of different stuff. But yeah, man, I'm gonna get you hooked up. Check it out. 7-day free trial to davekroyer.com. If you don't dig it, pirate all the videos for 6 days, then cancel it on the 7th day. I don't give a shit. I like to give the information out, man. So yeah, check it out. There's a lot of free videos, a lot of information there about. There's over 500 videos, man. I got podcasts, blogs, everything you can think of.
Right. Where are you located? The town.
Austin, Texas. Really, It's Hutto, North Austin, but yeah.
You say Hutto?
Texas. Hutto.
Hutto.
Hutto. It's about 10 miles north of Austin.
Okay, cool. I like Texas. I just left the Junior Olympics out there with my daughter.
Where were you at?
She was running track. I was in place in Hutto, Texas. Hutto.
Yeah, dude, that's where I live. It's Hutto.
I think it's with 2 D's still, like Huddle. I think it's something like that. But it's by Houston. It's close to Houston.
Okay, you were on that side of the state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's close. It's pretty nice out there, though. I like Texas. Like, they got some good hog hunting out there. Yeah,
man. Like, dude, I could take you hog hunting right now down the road. You get 20, 30 tonight. Literally, if we go sit on the back of my property, you might get 2 or 3 tonight.
How much land you got?
I don't talk about that stuff on the internet, but I
got you.
Property.
You got space. So look.
Yeah, I got space.
All
around me is space.
I'll definitely take them off you, get them out of there for you.
Yeah. I got some boys, man, that go out and they'll show me some pictures next morning. They'll get 20 or 30 in the night, man. They need them out. So they mess the ranches up out here. So
yeah, my domestic pigs get out for an hour and they tear up a half acre, just 4 of them. So right. I can just imagine how bad a population of hogs can tear up your property.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So that is gonna wrap us up, man. Episode 6, Dave Kroyer. Y'all look into all of his information, and it was nice talking to you, brother.
All right, peace, man. Enjoyed it.
All right, have a nice one.
Later.